They had it. They were this close. And it didn't go through. Let's talk about it. Design. The double whose door is always open. Gandalf's not the gray or the white, because I'm all black. Jordan LaForge, captaining this enterprise. The swag king with an official crown. Shout out to Sunday Swagger. And the long lost homie of AC Slater and Zach Morris, since y'all got jokes out there. I am Left Eye Ego. And guys, right after Shiro and I saw Oddity, maybe a few days to a week after, we remembered that Terra was out. Actually, it was a movie we completely forgotten about since it actually has been out since early May. And so, we were kind of excited for it, immediately forgot about it because Long Legs got all the hype. Then we wanted a palate cleanser from Long Legs. So then we watched Oddity. And lo and behold, we were looking up on Netflix trying to find something to watch on a Friday night. And hey, here's Terra. So we thought, hey, let's check it out and see what happens. And it was not what we thought it was going to be. And I'll explain why. So I'm actually going to talk about this movie in terms of giving you guys the overall description. We're going to go over not just that 1 to 5 star crap, the 1 to 5 ego statistics, y'all. The casting, plot, pacing, and actually potential. I heard you guys on the poll that I put out a few weeks ago. And so from here on out, movies are going to have spoilers. So at this point, I will try to give you all of the ego statistics, but I am going to give spoilers while trying to either make a point or give some clarity to what might be a bit of a muddled or convoluted plot. So buckle up for that. Let's go. All right, so the IMDb description of Tarot is: when a group of friends recklessly violates the sacred rule of tarot readings, they unknowingly unleash an unspeakable evil trapped within the cursed cards. One by one, they come face to face with fate and end up in a race against death.
It's an unspoken rule not to use somebody else's cards.
Who cares? Who's going first?
Now, in watching this movie, I will tell you kind of what the plot was. I'm kind of flush it out a little bit for you guys. So it's about 7 friends, all in uni. They're actually staying at an Airbnb at a really nice place in what I'm assuming is the wooded parts of Massachusetts, right? Actually sitting around a campfire, enjoying good brew, talking about their futures, doing the whole who's most likely to, get married, have kids, stay together, do something reckless, things like that, right? Just like anyone old enough to drink, they run out of alcohol, right? And instead of wanting to run out, go find liquor in a place that has a convenience store miles away, they do the impulsive thing that people that are old enough to drink but young enough to make dumb decisions, they decide to try to raid the house for any liquor that might be there. So rummaging around looking for things, and then one of the friends going into the room that acts says "do not enter," goes down to the basement and finds a box of tarot cards. Now, what's different about these tarot cards is they're actually customized. It's ones that haven't been seen in a deck before. And so, one of the friends that's really into astrological signs decides, hey, I'll give everyone's tarot card reading. So she goes through one by one, giving themselves readings, including giving herself a reading as well. Now, the good thing about this is as time goes on, they kind of forget about the whole thing until when they start coming back home or back to the university, they start dropping like flies. And they start realizing that the cards that they drew are the way in which they're dying. And so the plot kind of goes from there about trying to figure out why these tarot cards are cursed, why they're going after them, and how can they stop it. So as far as the casting for this, I'll give it a solid 3. They were relatively unknown, save for Jacob Batalon, who was in the Spider-Man series with Tom Holland. We had Harriet Slater as Haley, who was the main character. It was Aidan Bradley as the lovelorn ex-boyfriend. We had Avantika, who played the friend Paige. Kimberly Gonzalez as Madeline. Wolfgang Novogratz as Lucas. Larson Thompson as Elise. And someone who came in kind of 2/3 of the way into the movie, but still had an impact, Owen Fuere. Again, it kind of works that they had relatively unknowns, again, save for Jacob Talon, because you didn't know how their reactions were going to be in the moment, and that actually worked in their favor. Now, because these were all 20 somethings, when they're trying to figure everything out, what do? Like anyone that's 20 years older or even younger, they start looking up everything on the internet. So let's say, hey, well, this says that the cards could mean this. And someone's saying, well, hey, I looked on this other website and it kind of says the opposite. What do we do? So from that point, I actually like the fact that they're doing things that 20 somethings in a crisis would actually do. Now, the plot, you know what? I will give the plot a solid 4. The plot involves trying to figure out in the digital age something that was accursed from I think it was the 17th or 18th century. Now, the plot that they find out is the fact that there is a bruja or a witch, and she was actually tasked with being the I guess the spiritual tarot reader for this wealthy individual who found out his wife was pregnant. And so she's doing the cards saying, hey, look, doesn't really like the wife or the baby's going to really survive this. And so he keeps having to read these over and over and over. Turns out that the premonition actually comes true, that this wealthy man's wife and child pass away in childbirth. And so to punish her, even though she was reading back the cards, he and his friends actually go on a literal witch hunt. And the witch takes off with her daughter to try to hide in the woods. But while she leaves out one day, they catch the daughter and string her up pretty much. So the witch, in her rage and revenge, places all these, makes these card readings, one for each of the wealthy people in the town, which are the tarot cards you wind up seeing later on in the movie. She winds up, offing herself, and the blood actually spills into the zodiac, which actually imbues her vengeful spirit in the tarot cards. And the kids find this out because they start researching and finding out all about these deaths that have happened after a tarot card reading. And so they find the one person who actually survived this, this death by tarot, and actually winds up being Amy, the Owen Foray characters. And they ask her how she survives, and she says, I didn't read my own tarot. So that's the only reason I survived. And at that point, it really gets real. Like, they've got to figure out a way to stop this. So they actually bring Amy back to the old house, where they actually found the deck of cards to figure out if they can actually destroy the cards and then actually destroy the vengeful spirit that was imbued with those cards. So it was a pretty solid 4. I actually like that plot. It actually made sense. Now, pacing, I'm going to give this an actual 4 for the pacing. The reason why, because it actually reminded me so much, and I mean ridiculously so much, of Final Destination. For those that do not remember, Final Destination was about a guy that has a premonition that they're going to be off in a plane incident. And so he's so scared that he does not get on the plane. And he has about 5 or 6 friends that are concerned about him that want to make sure he's okay. So they deboard the plane, and the plane actually goes boom. And so the friends start getting picked off one by one, because once you've seen death and you avoided it, death is very vengeful and wants to get their man or woman in the end. And so this movie was just like that. I mean, there were jump scares. They were quality jump scares. They were good, but it also used some practical effects. Here's the thing, and we gotta talk about this. Oh Lord, the potential. This is what the potential was, a solid 5 on this. It could have been a 5. I had to give it a 5 on potential, because here's why. They find out that when they get to the house, Amy is trying to help them figure out what the next move is, and the tarot cards start moving on their own, and they actually see the vengeful witch in the background, and she makes Amy read her own tarot, thus ensuring the fact that she's going to get offed right after that. And so it starts trying to pick off the last 2. It's the couple that are in there. It's I think it's Haley and Grant. And so basically Haley says, hey, you should heal from the past. I'm very sorry what they did to you. My mother was taken from me by cancer, and it hurts me as well. So I need you to heal, please heal, please heal. And she throws the tarot cards into the fire, thus severing the vengeful spirit from the cards. Cards burn up, everybody goes home happy. This is where they missed it, because potentially this could have been Tarot 2, Tarot 3, Tarot 4, Tarot 5, up to Tarot 6, because this would have been the new Final Destination. You could cycle so many other people through this movie, and this premise is still the same. The vengeful spirit that says if you read your horoscope, you're gonna go. And by burning the cards, they burned up a potential freaking franchise. There would have been no need to pull up the corpse of Final Destination. It's got to rest in peace. It was fantastic for the 2000s. It was an entire genre unto itself, the horror thriller catastrophe film. And they had this in Tarot. And by making this a one and done, there's so much unused potential. I feel like Dennis Green right now.
They are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
But it's still a movie that's worth a good watch. Not having anything too much going on a Saturday, want to watch a cool popcorn flick that's kind of scary but kind of funny, because the people kind of deserve the consequences of their actions by reading a tarot card that you're not supposed to read because it isn't yours. If that's your jam, or you're just saying, hey, I want a no muss, no fuss, one-off horror movie, this is your movie. For your boy Left Eye Ego, I am out.